Since humans first used to have been asking a question, where the lower limit, although the method of is not only one, but to accurately define the concept degree, scientists have spent than 100 years. In fact, the measuring temperature instrument was Galileo in 1596. He used of air heat compression to show temperature changes, but Galileo's thermometer can only show a rough range. Because there is no temperature on, you can only compare which is cold and which hot. It to know the exact temperature. In fact, to give the thermometer the temperature was two scientists. 1701, the Danish astronomer Aurel Lemay marked the ice point as 0 degrees and the wastewater as 60 degrees. Then he divided the points into 60 pieces. This formed the temperature machine of. In same year, Newton referred to the ice point and his own body temperature to make temperature indicator. But problem is that the temperature machine is not stable. By Luomo, will it meet low temperatures? And Newton used amazium oil, which will become sticky. Result is, these two people are not popular. In 1724, Dutch physicist Daniel Wallenheit gave up alcohol and oil and changed to water and silver as ring. He set the ice and salt mixture to 0 degrees, and the male mouth was set 96 degrees. Because the AN measurement range is larger, the Chinese thermometer will soon rise. But this thermometer also has weaknesses. Because the is determined by the ice-salt mixture and the population of as the proportion of has changed a little, the temperature of is different. The British Navy once complained that each ship is different. In 1732, the Swedish astronomer Anders Schultz invented a on the water's ice point and the basis, called the set temperature indicator. In fact, the world's first set temperature indicator is opposite. It sets the water's lungs at 0 degrees and the ice point at 100 degrees. The reason why is so anti-foggy is because the environmental temperature is often lower than the ice point. This mark can prevent the appearance fogs. Later, a Swedish plant scientist, Carl Linné, after the Scherzios, poured the temperature indicator over it. But whether a Chinese temperature indicator or a German temperature indicator, they are made on the physical characteristics. The ice point changes due to the difference and also due to the difference. So scientists are wondering if their thermometer that does not rely on the characteristics at if to any place this thermometer can be used. 1702, French physicist Jean-Marc Armandus noticed that when the gas cools, its pressure will drop. He speculates that if the drops to 0, the corresponding temperature should be the lowest temperature, which is we call absolute 0 degrees. But that time didn't call it. He called it infinite cold. The temperature measurement technology and the theory had been confirmed. Amundsen did not give specific numbers. The who really set absolute 0 degree is William Thomson, who became the Kelvin. Kelvin was a professor that time. Britain was busy with construction of across the Atlantic. Because the temperature change will affect the electric resistance, and the effect will also affect it. As a scientific consultant for Kelvin needs find a more accurate measurement temperature, Kelvin was the research Hamilton and combined the principle. Then he found that the gas is at a pressure. The volume will decrease 1%. So in theory, when the gas is 0, the corresponding temperature should be negative 273.15 degrees. Because Scherzios has the ice point to 0, the exhaust point to 100. In order to avoid tradition, he retained the sec time limit. Then, 0 point is to 273.15 degrees, forming the Kelvin temperature. The scientist can finally not rely on material characteristics, but rely on the dynamic of to measure temperature. From Galileo using pressure to show temperature change, to the Amont using molecular motion to produce infinite cold. The of absolute 0 degree has been defined a century, and the Kelvin standard has also become the most common and basic temperature standard.